But first, let's look at our second round rules. Everything gets double from the first round. A great take gives you 400 points. A good take gives you 200. An okay take gives you 100 points. And a bad take, again, nothing there. 0 points. The Dallas Cowboys folded in, I don't even want to say Dallas Cowboys fashion. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. They just somehow invent new ways to fall out of the playoffs in epic fashion. Mike McCarthy with a rough day at the office, some bad second down run calls, only 15 yards on 7 carries on second down in that game. McCarthy had a bad coaching performance. Dak Prescott, a down performance from him as well, especially given how he played this regular season. 2 picks, including a devastating pick 6 toward the end of the first half. Yes, he threw for 400 yards and the 3 touchdowns, but most of those came in garbage time. Dak certainly came nowhere near having his best day at the office. And Dan Quinn might have had the worst performance of them. Again, we'll discuss this, but Dan Quinn's defense, top 5 in virtually every statistical category, giving up 48 points to the Green Bay Packers and a near perfect passer rating to a, albeit surging, Jordan Love with the Green Bay Packers. But the Packers get the upset. I will start with you, Tim. Who is the biggest reason? There's a lot of reasons the Cowboys lost, but who is the biggest factor? Who's the biggest reason the Cowboys lost to Green Bay?
Yeah, there's so much blame to go around. I mean, you can sit here and say Dak, the defense, Dan Quinn, all these guys, but at the end of the day, it boils down to one man, and that's head coach Mike McCarthy. Because this man has come in, he again kind of similar with Sirianni, who has come in, taken over a bad program, and has gone 12-5 the last 3 seasons, including this one. He lost twice in the wild card round, including this year, and then last year in the divisional round. The dude hasn't even made an NFC championship game. When was the last time Dallas even made an NFC championship game? It's been forever. And the fact that a team with the 5th in total yards, who couldn't produce more than 16 points in the through 3 quarters. I want to say those 16 points in the 4th quarter are pretty much garbage time points anyway. They really didn't matter. The game was well over. But Dak going 1 for 4 with 0 yards after 1 quarter was wild. And Mike McCarthy was a former offensive coordinator. He brought Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers to a Super Bowl championship. So where is this going? I understand that, regular season is all well and good, but like we've talked about on this show multiple times, it's how you perform in the playoffs. And Matt LaFleur just had a coaching field day against Mike McCarthy. I think that's really why I blame Mike McCarthy more than anybody, is just how Matt LaFleur just dismantled them. And Dallas didn't even look ready. They were like, yeah, all right, another week. We're going to steamroll these guys. How can you not have your team ready after 2 years of losing so early when you have a very good team that has a chance of at least getting to the NFC Championship game? That's what really shakes me, because
in seconds,
you have to have your head coach is supposed to have you ready. In the last 3 years, going 12-5 has done nothing for Dallas.
Yeah, no question. Obviously, again, 3 12-1 seasons in a row. I believe they're the only team in NFL since the merger in 1970 to have 3 straight 12-1 seasons and fail to make a conference title game in any of those, and they only have 1 playoff win in that stretch. In general, Tim, I'm gonna give you a good take there. Listen, Mike McCarthy had picked up his worst day to have his worst game, or picks his worst game to have his worst day at the office, so to speak. And obviously, Matt LaFleur and everybody in Green Bay ran circles. Keep in mind too that Dallas's offense, you could put this on Dak, McCarthy, anybody who you want. Green Bay's defense was bottom 10 in virtually every statistical category, and like you mentioned, only 16 points through 3 quarters, and then the 16 meaningless in the 4th quarter. To you, Dalton, who deserves the most blame for the Cowboys' playoff loss to the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, everybody involved. This is a full organizational failure, top to bottom. I'll start at the top. I think Jerry Jones fosters a culture of extreme pressure, and I think he fosters a culture where people aren't comfortable in their day-to-day. And I think the pressure gets to guys, and I think it would take a certain type of guy to succeed in that culture. I don't think Mike McCarthy is the guy who can succeed in that culture. I don't think Dak Prescott is either when the lights get brightest. Prescott is now 2-5 in the postseason in his career. He's thrown 7 interceptions in those 7 games. Look, the guy is a very talented quarterback. When things set up correctly for him, he can look absolutely dominant. He's really fun to watch. But the reality is that when teams change up what they're doing, when the lights get brighter in the playoffs, I haven't seen a ton of ability from him to adjust in these big spots and find a way through. You said it, right? This idea that a team can win 12 games every year and not go anywhere in the postseason speaks for itself. Now, do you get rid of Dak Prescott? I don't think so. The guy's talented enough. You're not going to find, more than a few quarterbacks who are more talented than him out there. To me, Mike McCarthy's the guy that needs to go because Jerry Jones isn't going anywhere. I think you need to hire somebody younger. You need to hire somebody more creative, and you need to hire somebody who's going to bring the best out of Dak when it's needed, if that's there. So if somebody has to go, it's McCarthy. But realistically, this is a top to bottom organizational failure. Take it from a Dodger fan. Like, doing nothing in between these seasons does not make it change. It's Dave Roberts. It's Mike McCarthy, right? It's the same type of idea to me. So.
Yeah, and like, again, goes across the board. And I'm glad you mentioned Jerry Jones in the culture in Dallas, which is not conducive to winning. And we can go back to the Jimmy Johnson fire. I mean, you saw Jimmy Johnson's halftime speech, man. Why did he fire this dude? Like, well, what are we doing here? But listen, it does kind of stem from the top, and the culture in Dallas is nothing short of horrendous. And like you said, there's Super Bowl expectations. It seems like every week. It seems like on these shows we watch on television. Even I can get caught up in my show. Is this a must win for Dallas against the Carolina Panthers? No, they're going to kick Carolina's teeth in. Like, it's little things like that factor in. Dalton, to actually give you a great take. I think you were across the board 100% on this. Dak needs better coaching. Dak needs to step up his game in regards to the brighter moments. McCarthy is uncreative, and Jerry Jones is a chaotic egomaniac owner. So a great take for Dalton. For Dylan, what is your reaction to the Dallas Cowboys loss, and more specifically, who deserves the most blame?
I mean, quite frankly, as much as there's so much blame to go around, I really think Dan Quinn and that defense deserves the most. We're talking about a Cowboys team that arguably the best it's been in a long time. We last week, I remember I was so emphatic about them blowing out the Packers just by purely the Packers' not so great offense going up against what I thought was going to be a woodshed. Just how great the Cowboys defense was time and time again. But then game time comes, you're already down 27-0 in the first half. Like, you don't even have a prayer to even come back. And Dak Prescott fought his best. The Cowboys still try to fight and made at least somewhat of a close game on the scoreboard, at least. But you can't let Aaron Jones have 3 touchdowns. You can't let Jordan Love have a near perfect QBR. You can't let that happen to anyone. And with a Packers team that didn't impress me at all going into the playoffs, all of a sudden putting up 48 on who I thought was going to at least win 1, maybe 2 playoff games. And it almost seems like the Cowboys are cursed. You could talk about Jerry Jones, you could talk about McCarthy, but at 27-0, you already start off the game. There was just no chance for them to even be able to make a comeback at all. Plain simple.
Yeah, and it's a lack of preparation. It's a lack of attention to detail, and that's a Green Bay team that came in a lot more desperate than Dallas. This is a Green Bay team that listen, they've been playing about along with your Rams, Dawn, along with the Baltimore Ravens, like they've been among some of the best teams in the league, at least the hottest teams in the league, starting 3-6, winning 6 of their last 8 to get into the postseason with the hottest quarterback arguably in all football in Jordan Love, but still 48 points is bad, like really bad, especially at home. Dylan, I'm going to give you an okay take once again here. I think you did a solid job pointing out, some of the misgivings of the Dallas Cowboys. Only thing I would say is I don't know if you necessarily pinpointed exactly what was the issue regarding Quinn and the defense, but nonetheless, an okay take. To finally to you, EJ, I know this one hurts you the most, is the Dallas Cowboys loss in the playoffs. Your reaction, and more specifically, what's the biggest reason they lost?
Yeah, I think that everybody hated it a little bit with who they thought was to blame, but I'm going to go with out of left field kind of pick right here. I'm going to say Jimmy Johnson by proxy. In Cowboys land, you think about this curse of Jimmy Johnson and, oh man, we lost to the Dolphins. We don't have any hopes of winning the division. Then we come in and we have that game against Detroit. You win it off of a failed 2-point conversion, not once, not twice, 3 times. And then you go and somehow Philadelphia has a collapse of catastrophic proportions to let you have the 2 seed and play at home where if you won 16 straight, you feel great about that. You feel like you're floating on clouds, like there's no way you could lose. And maybe it was a lack of preparation by these coaches and everybody in the organization to think, man, we've kind of got that monkey off of our back. We solved the Jimmy Johnson curse. He's in the Ring of Honor. Everything's gone right since that point when he was inducted. And so we don't have to game plan as hard. We can win. We can beat anybody at our house. And then game time started. The Green Bay Packers won the toss. They marched down the field. They put 7 up on you. And then it looks like everybody's wide-eyed, like that couldn't happen. Not against our defense, our really great defense that gets so many turnovers at home. No, not us. And then you come back and you go 3 and out damn near on the pass just past the outstretched arms of CeeDee Lamb. And then they come back 14-0. Then you throw the interception, and then it festers and it gets bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden you're looking up at the scoreboard. It's 27-0. And there's no answers. Nobody knows what happened. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, really, is just the false sense of we finally got this off of our back. It's our year. We have the easiest path to the NFC Championship game in ages. I got to blame it on the curse and by proxy, Jimmy Johnson.
That's an interesting take. I've never really thought about it that way before. Maybe I guess, I don't know, blaming a guy who was retired in the 90s. But listen, curses are a real thing in sports. Red Sox, 86 years. Cubs, was 108 years. Dallas Cowboys now it's going to extend to at least 29 years. So, yeah, maybe there is something to that. But by and large, okay take. EJ, I'm going to give you the okay take here to get you to 200 points.